Shalom. Praise my Abba. Yahweh ben Yahweh. The reason I'm making this video is I was just having a conversation with my son. Started it off by telling him about this brother that I listened to yesterday said that we didn't need any protein in our system. And he broke it down of why we don't need any protein in our system. And my son was like, I don't believe that, I don't believe that. And I was telling him some things that the guy said, and I was like, well, tomorrow, why don't you listen to him? And my son, he didn't want to listen to him, oh, no, I don't want to, this and that. So then I started telling him about fighting for his freedom. And I was telling him about Mumia. Mumia is locked up 22 hours a day, locked up. Every picture I see of Mumia, he has on handcuffs, but yet he fights for his freedom. And I told him a little bit about York. I research York a lot, and I know that York is an innocent man. And he's in prison for 135 years. And I asked him, I said, I don't understand. What is wrong with you guys? I mean, my children, what is wrong with you all? You don't want to be free? And so I just went on, to tell him, like, the Willie Lynch letter, in the Willie Lynch letter. And I taught my children this Willie Lynch letter, and the son that I was speaking to, he was 5. When I taught it to him, he knew it very well. When I asked him tonight, what is the Willie Lynch letter about, he said he didn't know. But a lot of this is due to CPS and DCF taking my children away from me. And see, they did the same thing in slavery. We come over here, they would take our children from us, and give our children to the slaves that didn't remember who they were or didn't know who they were. And I just asked him, he's watching this wrestling stuff, boxing rather, on TV. He likes wrestling, boxing, cartoons about superheroes and Transformers, and all that. He never, ever, ever gets into learning of himself. And I asked him, I said, what is it? Can you guys have me where I can understand why you won't fight for your freedom? You won't do anything for your freedom? And he wouldn't say anything. I asked him that, just talking to him 3 or 4 times. He never, ever answered it. But when he did open his mouth, he told me how I just ramble on. And I said, so me talking about your freedom, you being free, you being a sovereign being, is rambling on? He said, everything you say, you're rambling on. Well, I'm always serious. I really don't have any time for foolishness. And I told him that in 2006, I had already had my children. In 2006 is when I found out about the Rockefellers, the Social Security cards, the government, and Federal Reserve. And when I found it out, when I first heard it, okay, I was in jail. I didn't have much to actually research it. And then when I got out of jail, I began to research it, And, man, I was angry. I was so angry because I had been tricked. I had been fooled by Pinky's Bible, the one he gave us and taught us how to read it. We were supposed to be free in 400 years. Now, it used to be that the books would say that in 1555, we came over here as slaves. So that meant in 1955, we were free. I was born in 1958. I was born 3 years after freedom, which means I am a free being. I am a sovereign being. This I know. And my son would rather, just try to make me like I'm doing something wrong because I'm keeping him from this little boxing thing where you're going to see one dude get beat up and the other dude win. What does that have to do with our freedom? And I'm just so tired. I don't understand. Why people don't want to be free? Why people don't want to be sovereign? I don't understand it. I mean, even all these brothers who have all this magnificent knowledge are not sovereign. I mean, the police can come and take them the same way they took York, the same way they took my Abba. I could not believe they took my Abba. How can you take a sovereign being into your courts? You know, and when they get into the courts, next thing you know, these sovereign beings are in prison. And I'm like, there's something really wrong here. And people just won't fight. It's like everybody's looking for the good Lord to come and save them, or a spaceship is going to come and get them, or Nubaru is going to hit the earth. Well, I want to not research that Nubaru stuff. Okay, Nubaru can be a ship or whatever. I can go for that, but it's not going to hit this earth. Nubaru is 3 times as big as the earth. If it hit the earth, it would knock us out in who knows where, another atmosphere, whatever. So I can't believe that there's going to be a ship that's going to come and kill everybody on the earth. I don't believe that. I don't believe nobody is coming out of the sky to save us. Maybe tornadoes and, you know, the snow and all that. Maybe that has something to do with it, but that's too slow for me. I want to be free like when I was born, 58 years ago, 53 years ago. I want to be free. And I don't understand. I just don't get it. I mean, people who have all this knowledge, you know, you got the Master Blaster, you got El Bay, you got Dr. Valentine, and there are many more that I listen to, but right now, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And none of these brothers on there with all this fabulous knowledge would get together. I don't understand that either. Why you guys just don't get together? I mean, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he got people together, and that's why they killed him, because they were coming up with their birth certificate stuff. They had to get rid of Noble Drew. They had to get rid of the prophet, because the prophet was teaching us that we were sovereign beings. The prophet knew that we were sovereign beings. And then my Abba came along, and he did the same thing. Oh, and York came along. Oh, man, have you seen his land? Oh, man, it's so awesome. And I watched the video the other day where they just drove by it, and it's nothing there. Looks like maybe a barn or something and a bunch of grass. It's nothing there. And I went to Miami in like 2003 or 2004, and the temple was gone. Everything that was there was gone. Even the floor was gone. And it's like they're trying to wipe us out. I mean, why is Prophet Noble Drew not in the history books? Prophet Noble Drew was in Chicago. They killed him, I think, 1929. In between that time, I'm sure my parents were born, and then I was born. And if Noble Drew was in Chicago at that time, then how come I didn't know about Noble Drew until my grandbaby was like a year old, and he's like 3 now, okay, so 2009, 2010 is when I actually began to research Prophet Noble Drew, and I found that he was in Chicago. And then we have Mumia, and my son, the one that walked out because he doesn't want to hear about his freedom, he was like 4 or 5 years old, probably wasn't even that old, and I used to protest so that they wouldn't kill Mumia. And we did get that done. They didn't kill him, but, I mean, he might as well be dead. He's still locked up. But anyway, my son, he always wanted to go to the protest with me, always. He wanted to hold his own side, everything. And I would be like, you don't understand what protesting is, but my baby did. He could tell me what protesting was. And he knew that Mumia was locked up, and he knew that we were trying to